So logging into the gateway, I'll give you a little bit of an overview of how to create a login and how to gain access to the gateway. It's important to note that creating a login to the gateway on its own won't actually give you access to any specific content or functionality. That's a second step where we give your username permissions. But this step is the first and necessary step to actually create your login on the gateway. So let's go through how we would do that. There will always be a link on the footer of the gateway called Join the Gateway. We might put some links in other places to help promote that. At this point, you would type in your full name. So I'll do this. You would type in your correct email address, and from there you choose a username, and the advice we have is that you choose a username that is in all lowercase letters, and it would be your first name dot last name. This is not mandatory, but it makes a big difference for you to help remembering what your username is, and also it helps us resolve issues later on if we need to. And from there it will ask you a random question to determine if you are a robot. Sometimes it's a mathematical question, sometimes it's something slightly different. And what will happen is when you press register at this point, the system will send you an email, and you then have about 72 hours to receive that email and confirm your registration. So I'll check my inbox, and actually the messages come in already, and here I have a link that I need to click on before it expires. From there I click on that link. That then obviously confirms that my email address is valid. I then type in my username, and I can set my new password. And we do strongly recommend that these passwords are very unique and unguessable. And they should probably contain various numbers and letters. So once I've done that, I can then log into the portal with my details. So I can then log in to test this password, new login details. And there I am logged into the gateway. I'll now have a new black bar down the left-hand side, which signifies that I'm logged into the site, and this is a location where additional menu items will appear depending on what permissions you have around the website. And you can also go to a personal menu at the bottom and log out again from this location. So some information about creating an account on the gateway. Again, we strongly recommend that you use a username in the format firstname.lastname with no spaces and all lowercase. We also recommend that you use a very unique and unguessable password. We also recommend that you do not share this login with anybody else. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever to share a login between multiple users. Every single person can have their own personal login. And more to the point, we do actually track activity on the website via logins. So if we needed to help debug a problem or help you out with an issue, we can then check exactly what you have access to and what you're doing. It also means from a security point of view that if a particular person needs to leave the gateway, it's easy enough to deactivate one login rather than people sharing passwords. And so it's certainly not a good idea to create one single login that you share within the group. And it's also important to note that the login itself doesn't give you any particular functional access to the gateway, but once you do have a login, we can then give you particular roles within the gateway in particular locations, which will determine what you can do.